Forget gurus. Forget anyone claiming to be an online business expert without going through the challenges of entrepreneurship themselves. The Real Money, Real Business podcast is here to prove the best insights in online business comes from your fellow online business builders. We dig into stories of entrepreneurs selling their business on the Empire Flippers marketplace so that you can learn how they made their business profitable, how they overcame obstacles, and what lessons they learned in their online journey. If you want to take your business and your knowledge to the next level, you've come to the right podcast. Let's get started.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Real Money, Real Business podcast. I'm Michelle, and today we have Craig on the show, who has just listed his business on the Empire Flippers marketplace. Hey Craig, good to have you on today. How are you?
Hey Michelle, I'm very well, thank you. Thanks for taking the time for the interview.
I want to thank you for taking the time to come on today. I'm looking forward to learning more about your business. But before we dive in, let's go over a brief summary of it. So it's an Amazon FBA business in the automotive niche, created in March 2016. The average revenue for the business is $86,999 per month, and it makes an average of $28,964 per month in net profit. So included in this sale is an Amazon Seller Central account with 41 SKUs, a domain with all site content and files, supplier relationships, a Shopify account, social media accounts for Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, and YouTube, a US trademark, an email list with 4,500 subscribers, and product design files. So for everyone listening, you can visit empireflippers.com/marketplace and search for listing 60211 to learn more about this business. Or you can unlock this listing to start your due diligence if you're interested in purchasing this asset. So now that we've gone over the business, let's hear from the owner. Craig, I'll turn it over to you. What can you tell us about your background in starting and running online businesses?
Yeah, so I was doing freelance graphic design since I was 16. And then I started designing and building websites when I was 18. That kind of helped me pay the bills through college. And I studied digital media in university here in Ireland. When I was 22, I started a virtual tour business over here where clients could kind of show off their properties online through virtual reality. So I was mostly working in service businesses, up till I was graduated.
So you have quite the background as a digital entrepreneur. So what inspired you to start this particular business?
Yeah, so after I graduated in 2016, I was given a business scholarship to New York. And when I was in New York, I met loads of graduates from UCLA and other places. And they kind of told me about Amazon FBA, and they already seen a lot of success because they had already been selling on there a year or 2 years.
So what was it about the FBA business model that really attracted you?
So basically, as they were explaining it to me over in New York, it was mostly the ease of a product transaction. So as long as the product you're providing is good, it's way simpler transaction. So the customer gets the product, they pay you, hopefully you're left with some profit and they're happy and you're happy. For the last couple of years, I'd been doing service businesses, and then I really decided to pursue product businesses. And also, I guess the barrier to entry on Amazon was pretty low at the time.
And what was it about the products that you chose? Because product selection is such a difficult thing for new Amazon sellers.
Yeah.
So what was it about this niche, these products that really stuck out to you?
The last couple of years, I had been doing, graphic design, as a kind of service business, doing freelancing. So I kind of naturally gravitated towards graphics as well on Amazon. So I guess when looking back, I kind of joined the dots. It all kind of made more sense now. Yeah, in graphics, I was able to, the markup is pretty large because when the vinyl is just blank, doesn't cost a lot. But once you make the design good, you can put a pretty large markup.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So, I noticed that you have a Shopify account included with this sale, but are you currently selling on Shopify, or do you have your listings redirected to Amazon, or how does that work?
Yeah, so we have our own online store as well through Shopify, and that's currently live as well. It's getting it gets a couple of sales a day. But whereas on Amazon, we get like over 100 sales, I'd say. On Shopify, maybe 5 a day. So that's probably about 5%.
You've had this business for a few years now and you're getting, hundreds of sales a day. So why have you decided to sell the business now instead of keeping it and growing it?
Yeah, it's been about 6 years now since I've been working on this Amazon store, and proud of what I've built so far. But I definitely want to kind of pursue other areas like real estate. So there's like a massive housing crisis in the area I live. I'm sure it's probably a global thing. Well, it's definitely in Ireland anyway. So I really want to help kind of contribute to solving that crisis that's here. I guess exiting now would make more sense.
Yeah, that's a fair point. I think you're right that even though it may be on a global level, I do know that Ireland in particular, certain parts of the country, it is extremely difficult to get housing and the rents are just astronomical.
Yeah, that's kind of what I want to pursue. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of growth left for the next buyer on with Amazon. If the new buyer had like a team of people specializing on in all the different areas, and they could use like software, and that I'm sure that they can take this brand, to the next level.
And what would you say was your biggest win since starting this business?
I would say probably scaling, starting with just one SKU, and now there's like 50 SKUs selling every day. So yeah, probably scaling up like to the size that the brand is now. Also, kind of, we have like a large following on social media. We have a lot of repeat customers too. So I think we're a pretty reputable brand now online in the US.
That's great. So, what was your biggest setback or challenge?
Our biggest challenges, so as we were expanding, obviously you needed large inventory purchases, and I started with like really little capital. Yeah, it was difficult to get the inventory needed to keep growing, I guess.
No, that's an excellent point. We just did a webinar about, supply chain and logistics and just the importance of keeping that inventory in and how damaging it can be for FBA sellers. I was actually curious because you mentioned, you have a background in graphic design. So, are you the one creating, like, are you doing product development for these?
Yeah, so I've been developing the product since the start. Yeah, due to like my previous kind of experience with graphic design and like digital marketing, I was able to pretty much do it all by myself, basically.
And are you using like PPC advertising or any kind of SEO to drive traffic to your listings?
Yeah, we have the keywords in the listings, which, help you rank on Amazon for like, so the customers can find us. In the last like 2 years, we started using AI to optimize our PPC campaigns on Amazon. And that was really useful for bringing down the A costs, because before we were getting sales, we were spending the same on just acquiring the sale. Yeah, the AI was useful in acquiring new sales.
And you mentioned that you have a large social media following. Like, does that play into the amount of sales that you get? Like, what other types of marketing are you doing?
Yeah, so I think the large following that we have, when customers are considering purchasing from us, I'm sure they probably do a Google search and, check, is this brand reputable? And yeah, that gives them probably an extra bit of confidence to see, there's already thousands of people talking about us online and, in forums and stuff. So yeah, I'm sure that contributes to some of the sales.
And a little bit earlier, you said that, you felt like this business really had room to grow in the right hands. So, what are some of the major growth opportunities that you could see for this business going forward?
So possible areas for growth are just fixing the out of stock rate, because I think we've been out of stock probably 20 to 30% of some SKUs at some stage over the past year. So just fixing that alone will boost, revenue and profits. That would just take a larger inventory purchase and then keep it, our third party warehouse in the US. So it's like they're available to restock, send into Amazon. Also, we're only selling on Amazon US at the moment. We get a lot of messages from customers from Mexico, customers from Canada. So Amazon Mexico would be two pretty easy markets to expand to. Then off Amazon, we're not selling on Walmart or Etsy or eBay or any of those other marketplaces, so they would be pretty easy as well to, I guess, tap into if someone had the knowledge and the software to do so. And almost all of our products only have, there's no variation, it's just that product. I was considering adding, color variations or slight design variations. So you could probably double or triple the amount of SKUs we have just by adding variations. Also, another point would be we haven't negotiated like our costs for production in over 2 years now, and inventory purchases have been going up. So yeah, there's definitely an opportunity to kind of renegotiate and lower the costs also.
Okay. I'm kind of glad that you brought up your inventory because I wanted to ask you about your current supply chain. So, can you kind of walk us through what that looks like right now?
So basically, I'd say over 80% of our SKUs are manufactured in Shenzhen in China. We try to make large inventory purchases so that we have enough on hand in the US. We ship it from Shenzhen to our third party warehouse in the US, where it's available then to send replenishment orders for FBA. We have two suppliers also in New Jersey and New York, but the majority is kind of China to the US.
And how long does it usually take for you to replenish your inventory?
After we place the order, it usually takes about 4 to 6 weeks, depending on the size of the order, obviously. Then shipping by sea is probably another 4 to 5 weeks. Yeah, so it can take probably 10 weeks on average from placing the order to having it available to ship into Amazon in the US.
And how often are you in contact with your suppliers?
We generally only speak when we're placing orders, I guess. They kind of check in to see is everything okay with the shipments, and yeah, just keeping track of shipments that are en route and placing new orders.
So, you mentioned earlier that you've had a few stockouts in the past. Have you taken any steps to prevent that from happening in the future? Or what do you think a buyer could do to prevent that?
So about a year ago, we got in touch with a third party warehouse in the US. I started shipping our goods to them for them to store, and then they're only like 30 minutes away from the nearest FBA warehouse. Whereas before we were shipping direct from the supplier into Amazon. Yeah, Amazon obviously cut down like the amount that you can store in their warehouse. I think we have like 4 to 6 weeks leadway that we're allowed to store there. But since we started using this third party warehouse, that's helped us have stock available. Like we can have it from the time that we place the replenishment order, it can be in Amazon in like less than a week usually.
That's excellent. I know that you spend very minimal time maintaining this business. So, could you maybe walk us through what a typical week looks like for you while you're running this business?
Yeah, so generally it only takes a couple of hours a week. Mostly it's just going through inventory, just trying to make sure that everything is in stock, trying to project sales as well, how much inventory will be needed, for the next 6 months or to a year. Usually about every second week we place a replenishment order for our third party warehouse to ship into FBA, so there's always stock in FBA available. Then there's just going over PPC, make sure that there's no keywords or kind of, running off, generating a lot of costs with no sales. Yeah, but it doesn't take very long. Yeah, it's minimal work, as you said.
And do you have anyone else working with you on the business and other aspects?
We just have one, I guess you call it subcontractor. She does customer service. So she just goes through, the messages coming in on the Amazon account or support email. Yeah, she only works like 1 to 2 hours a day also, just going through emails.
Okay. And so, what do you think that the biggest challenge will be for a buyer taking over this business?
Probably solving the stock issue. Yeah, you'll have to project how much, you'll need. And it's going to take some more capital to, if you want to have like 8 months or 12 months available in the US. We did make a large inventory purchase, probably our top 10 SKUs. So we have almost 12 months available for them. So it's just getting the other ones having a large inventory purchase.
Well, I think that's a good one. We hear that from sellers often is that it's just the lack of capital to be able to like infuse the business with the amount of inventory that it needs to avoid stockouts, especially because it can be so unpredictable right now with these sort of, the limits being raised and lowered and like
Yeah, yeah.
raised again. It's difficult to get a handle on it. So I think that's definitely a good one to highlight. And Craig, I wanted to ask, would you be willing to commit to a non-compete for a future owner?
Yeah, definitely, yeah. I have no intention of kind of, like, I'm happy to leave Amazon like completely and I pursue real estate. So yeah, I'll be happy to agree to a non-compete.
And how much support are you offering buyers?
I'm willing to work with them like maybe 2 months of Skype and messages, whatever they need.
And are you open to negotiating something like an earnout or another type of deal structure?
Yeah, if it makes sense for both of us. I want the buyer to be happy as well and confident. Yeah, I'll be open to an earnout.
So if you're putting yourself in the shoes of a buyer, why do you think this is a business worth buying?
I would say because we've built like a well-known brand now, and we have like thousands of good reviews. We've thousands of repeat customers, and there's just so many opportunities to fix little things that I wasn't able to do alone, like the out of stock issues, expanding to new marketplaces. I think someone with the capital and the expertise to do so could easily grow the business a lot.
Was there anything else that you'd like to share about the business that we might not have covered today?
No, I don't think so.
That's wonderful. Okay, I really want to thank you, Craig, for coming on today and giving us a little more insight into both yourself and your business. It's been a pleasure, and I appreciate you taking the time out of your day to do this.
Yeah, thank you for having me and taking the time as well to go through everything. So, yeah, I hope the next buyer be open to scheduling a call or wants to hear more about the business. So, yeah.
Definitely. All right, everyone. Thanks for listening. To learn more and see if this listing has already been sold, head over to empireflippers.com/marketplace and search for listing 60211. If you're watching this on YouTube, click the link in the description to go straight to the listing. Once you've unlocked this listing, you'll be given everything you need to know about this business. So until next time, enjoy your digital journey.